Hello, welcome to this video explaining the skill selection used for Axton's popcorn turrets. This build is all about increasing Axton's turrets as much as possible and increasing that cooldown rate so you can throw them out often. It means that whenever you're in combat, your turrets are never far away. If they get blown up, you'll only have to wait a few seconds before you can deploy them again. The best class mod to use with this build is the Legendary Engineer class mod. It provides some additional cooldown rate, and 3 of those 5 skills are based around your turret's deployment. Impact will increase your gun damage, and Able will give you some health regeneration. So anyway, the main thing we're looking at here is the cooldown rate. You can support this build by equipping a relic that also provides cooldown rate so you can throw those turrets out more often. Between the relic and my class mod here, I'm already up to 100% cooldown rate, which will halve the wait time before my action skill is ready to use again. Now, if I was leveling up, I'd probably start with the survival skill tree because I'd be making my way down to resourceful to increase my action skill cooldown rate further. You don't need a lot of gun damage at early levels, so focusing on your survivability, that's probably a good way to do it. So we've got preparation here, which will increase your shield capacity and also give you some health regeneration while your shields are at full capacity. Later on, we'll be able to support preparation by putting points into willing and able. So willing will make your shields recharge sooner and faster, and able will give you some additional health regeneration when you're shooting enemies. Moving down the survival skill tree, pressure would be the next good option. This will mean that the lower our health is, the sooner our shields recharge, which will get preparation in play and that health regenerating again. Later on, we'll be using a B shield, which doesn't give you a lot of capacity, and we haven't boosted our hit points much because hit points aren't worth much anyway, which will mean that if we have status effects applied, that will chew through our shields pretty quickly and chew through our health pretty quickly, and we'll be dead before we know it. Forbearance will counter this by reducing the duration of those status effects so that you have a chance to live through them. Next, we hit Resourceful to increase that cooldown rate, and you already know why. And then we need another 5 points to reach Gemini. So rather than putting 12 points into Grit, because that's a 12% chance to ignore death isn't very much. It's not really something I want to bet on. I do want to boost my turrets as much as possible, so we've got Phalanx Shield, which will mean that they can block a few shots, and also if you deploy your turrets in combat where you've already taken damage, this will provide a little bit of cover to get to safety. And we've got Maglock. Maglock will pair really well with Longbow, in that it'll make, Longbow means that when we deploy our turrets, they deploy like a longbow grenade. They rocket to where you're aiming to. Sticky means that they'll stay on what you're aiming at, which makes it really easy to position your turrets. It also changes your turrets' hitboxes, so they have to shoot the gun instead of the base, which will mean that your turrets will live for just a little bit longer. Not much longer, just a little bit longer. So while it looks like a useless skill, it has its uses. And if you watch the gameplay video, you'll see me using Maglock throughout that gameplay video as well. We need to spend 3 other points in this skill tree. You could increase your max health, but again, your hit points aren't worth much. You lose hit points a lot faster than you lose shields. You are going to go down from time to time. Last ditch effort will be your best chance to get back up, and it's probably better than trying to bet on not going down at all. So with last ditch effort, it'll increase your gun damage and your movement speed. Because you're a bit of a glass cannon, you're probably going to be behind cover when you go down. That additional movement speed will help get you out from behind cover, and the gun damage will help score that kill to get you back up. So those 3 points aren't entirely wasted there. It's a reliable skill. The next skill tree I'll probably try to go down is Gorilla. Sentry is a good skill for a turret build because it means your turrets stay out for longer. It also means they deal more damage because they're shooting more bullets. You can increase your turret's accuracy with laser sight. However, you need to make a choice here about whether you just want your turrets to slag or if you want them to do damage, because if they're too accurate, they will miss every shot on a moving target. If you give them less accuracy, that spread on their bullets will hit moving targets. So you've just got to decide how much accuracy do you want. sometimes putting about 3 points into the skill is a good compromise where you can hit moving targets and stationary targets, but you will miss bullets on both. So if you're too accurate, you'll miss moving targets. If you're not accurate enough, you'll miss stationary targets. So you'll need to learn how you want to balance this. 3 to 4 points in laser sight is probably better than 5, but we've maxed it out anyway for this build. There's another skill here that'll beef your turrets up a little bit more, and that's Scorched Earth. It will make your turrets deal more damage, but while I've put this skill point here because it matches the theme of what this build is about, making your turrets as lethal as they can be, doing everything we possibly can with the turrets, this build would be, listen to me, would be better off without a point in this skill. And that is because you as Axton are the main source of damage. Your turrets will deal damage and enough to kill something, but it'll probably be about a quarter of what you can do as Axton. If you've got Scorched Earth unlocked, that rocket barrage will cause blinding explosions, which will make it very hard for you as Axton to aim at the enemy. If you could see clearly, you'd be able to score those critical hits and deal more damage. So this build would be better without a point in Scorched Earth, but I've put it in there just because that's the theme of what this build is about, and I would not use Scorched Earth on any other build. So it does deal some damage, does give you some area effect damage if enemies are clustered, but you're probably better off just shooting them yourself. Then with Willing and Able, we can reach double up. This will double how many guns are on your turrets, and it will also slag your enemies. This will double the usefulness of Sentry because it's 10 shots fired per burst from a gun. Now you've got 2, so you're now getting an additional 20 shots fired between those 2 guns. And if you marry this up with Gemini, which we didn't even discuss before, we said we were reaching it, but that allows you to deploy 2 turrets. Now you've got 2 turrets with 2 guns each. You will be getting an additional 40 shots fired across all 4 guns on those 2 turrets. So that skill becomes more useful with Double Up and Gemini. Now the middle skill tree here is about increasing your damage, Axton's damage. So we've got Impact increases your gun damage. We've got Metal Storm, which will increase your fire rate and reduce recoil, so you can laser some people while that kill skill is active, and it's only going to be active for about 8 seconds, but it pairs up really well with Onslaught with the movement speed and the gun damage you get from that one. So that's about increasing your damage there as well. Then we've got Battlefront, and you get some points from your class mod for this, which will increase your gun damage and your grenade damage while your turrets are deployed. And then you can increase your grenade damage further with points in Steady and Do or Die. So between Steady, Do or Die and Battlefront, you'll get a bonus 95% gun damage while your turrets are deployed. Steady and Do or Die will also increase your rocket launcher damage by 30% across the 2 skills, and Do or Die will let you deploy grenades while you're in fight for your life. Now longbow turret endgame is a really important skill because it gives your turrets an extra 110% health. This will stop them from getting blown up too quickly late game. It also means that you can be more accurate with your turret's deployment. That's about all there is to say about this skill. This build. It's not weapon specific, so you can use whatever weapons you want. I have built it for damage, so I'm running with a B shield. The Lady Fist works really well with that B shield because it provides that 800% critical hit damage on top of the amp damage that is applied. Can run with a rocket launcher because you got that bonus 30% rocket launch damage, might help get you out of fight for your life. If you're going to use a grenade for damage, you might need a weapon to slag when you're down in fight for your life. And it's a bit of fun to snipe with this guy because you've got that bonus damage. You can deploy your turrets at range, so why not be at range yourself? Anyway, that is the popcorn turret build. I hope you understand where I'm coming from with this one. Again, it all makes sense except for this one skill here, Scorched Earth. You'd be better off putting that point somewhere else. If you want to flex around with this skill, with this build, I would be reducing how much damage your turrets do. Keep their cooldown rate up, but put points elsewhere to increase your own damage. have fun.